Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Nick.
And I'm Jackson.
I'm Top Notch Sports. Today, we're going to be going over the Miami Dolphins offseason salary review with head coach Brian Flores and see what they can do to make this Miami Dolphins team be a playoff contender, and not only a playoff contender, but maybe possibly a Super Bowl contender if they can build on a season they had this year. Look, Tua played decent when he was in. They had Ryan Fitzpatrick be basically the relief quarterback. It was almost like watching baseball. Besides, it was football. Have him coming in being the relief pitcher for this team. Probably no more Ryan Fitzpatrick next year. They're going to have a rock out with Tua, and we're going to see what they have to do. But let's hop right into it where Jackson's going to explain this first slide and what it means. Go ahead, Jackson.
So right here, this team's got $22.5 million to spend this offseason. Again, not the most, but definitely not the least. They can get something done with that. First, I want to point out this defense, arguably one of the best in the league, especially in the secondary. Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, who was acquired last offseason. Eric Rowe and Bobby McCain, solid safeties for you guys. Shaq Lawson, he's a great spot at linebacker. And Kyle Van Noy, you also brought him in the offseason. Originally, he was from the New England Patriots. And then on the offensive side of the ball, this team's definitely got some pieces. Newly drafted quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, who, again, like Nick said, it was always – he came in midseason, but always Ryan Fitzmagic was always coming in and, relieving him. And then Devontae Parker, again, he's more of a go-up-and-get-it type of receiver. He wasn't as good as he was a couple years ago. Jakeem Grant, solid slot guy. Mike Gesicki was a really, really good tight end for you guys this year. Myles Gaskin, he's a really, really solid running back. This offensive line, a little rough. I remember Austin Jackson. You guys picked him up with the first-round pick last year. This team was 10-6, I'm pretty sure. Just missed out in the playoffs. Again, any other year, 10-6 will make the playoffs, most likely. This team's got a bright future, especially with head coach Brian Flores.
Absolutely. Like Jackson said, this is currently, again, the green means you cut and you save. The red means you cut and you lose. One thing that we got to look at is this team right here. When we look at this team, these are the guys that are currently under contract. So, again, really rough offensive line. I'm not going to say a little rough. Very rough offensive line. Going to have to probably make some acquisitions maybe in the draft this year. We'll have to wait and see what they decide to do. Receiving core is not the worst. Devontae Parker, Jakeem Grant really came into his own this year. It looked very good. Preston Williams, not the greatest. Not bad, but not the greatest. Maybe to find a replacement because, again, Jakeem Grant looked pretty good. Devontae Parker looked good. I know Williams went down with an injury. So maybe you can get an upgrade at the wide receiver core and help Tua out, right? You got a good tight end in Mike Gesicki who came into his own also this year. So we'll have to wait and see what they do. Defensive line, not bad. And again, you got Van Noy that you acquired last offseason. Emmanuel Ogbah played pretty good this year. Probably going to have to find a nose tackle in this 3-4 front. You got Xavier Howard, like Jackson said, and Byron Jones. Again, and you got the kid that you drafted last year, Noah Ejbenahoni. I don't know how you say his name, but decent corner. I remember scouting him. He's not bad. So you got a really good secondary. Decent linebackers. You're going to need an inside linebacker. Again, you run a 3-4, so this guy's considered Sam, whatever his last name is. You're going to probably need to fill him in this offseason as well. But we'll see what you do with your $22.5 million, where on the next slide we'll show you your notable losses, who's currently not under contract. Let's go right into it. Jackson, go ahead.
First on this list, quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, 1 year, $10 million. He played 46.4% of the team snack, and that loss may be bigger than it seems, especially with how much he played last season. Center Ted Karras, his expected contract is 4 years, $40 million. He played 100% of the team snaps at center. Elandon Roberts, linebacker, his expected contract is a 1 year, $2 million deal. He played 38.9% of the team snaps. Nick Needham, cornerback, his expected deal is 2 years, $1.4 million. He played 53.3% of the snaps. And then Davon Godchow, defensive tackle, his expected deal is 2 years, $12 million. He played 13.7% of the team's defensive snaps.
So, again, you look at the guys, and usually you would say you want to bring back the guys that play a high percentage of the snaps again. So we'll have to wait and see. Godchow went down with an injury this year. So we're on the next slide. We're going to show you who we expect them to bring back and who we expect them to cut. So right away, you had the $22.5 million in cap space, your estimated cuts. We got you guys cutting nobody. Again, let's go back here real fast. There is nobody here you really want to cut. I mean, you can cut Van Noy and save $9.8 million. Not a good idea. You can cut Emmanuel Oddball, save $7.5. Probably not a good idea. You don't want to cut your safeties, your cornerback, your receiving core. I mean, people are going to be saying, oh, let's cut Jesse Davis, right? I'm just throwing somebody out there. Save $2.6 million. $2.6 million is not going to sign anybody in this league. So keep your team, keep all the greens. You're definitely not going to cut a red. You don't want to lose money. So you're going to keep the team how they were. It was a 10-6 team, like Jackson said, and let's just continue here. So estimating signings, we're going to bring back the center who played 100% of the snaps, Ted Karras, for a 4-year, $40 million deal, and Davon Godchow for a 2-year, $12 million deal, which sums up to be a $16 million in total cost, which means that you'd have $6.5 million in rollover cap for the 2022 NFL season, which is a really nice price to have. Again, 6.5, you don't have enough money to really go out there and sign a big name, so you're going to re-sign 2 guys and call it an evening. I mean, you got to keep this team somewhat the same, right? You're losing some key pieces here, right? Not really, but you're losing some pieces. You're losing Godchow and you're losing Karras. You got to bring back the 2 studs, the 2 guys that can come in and fill in a hole in your team right away. And that's what you're going to do in this free agency, most likely, is bring those 2 guys back. So again, what can you do? What can you do with your team needs? Well, again, we're going to re-sign center Ted Karras. You're going to re-sign defensive tackle Davon Godchow, and that fills in those 2 team needs. I'm expecting you guys to go out and draft it. Again, people are saying Jamar Chase, but why not get Tua comfortable and draft Alabama wide receiver who was averaging about 200 yards a game this year, Devontae Smith, Heisman winner, get him with your pick. Then you can also draft a left tackle that is very much needed, an inside linebacker you're going to need to draft, and maybe a running back, right? You're going to need someone that can back up Myles Gaskin if he doesn't pan out to be what we think he can be, or if he's the one, you're going to need a backup. I know you got Patrick Laird and Ahmed, I think, but you might just want to get a depth guy later in the draft. So let's go into the next slide. This is our final one today. Again, you see you got $6.5 million in cap space. Jackson, I'll let you explain what this slide shows.
Like you just said, $6.5 million. Again, that's something you can work around. Let's just go right here to the big piece you guys just brought in with the 3rd overall pick. Devontae Smith, pair him up with Tua Tagovailoa, his Alabama good old friend, buddy, whatever. Ted Karras, center, bulk up that offensive line again. Played 100% of the snaps. Davon Godchow, interior lineman, is going to be a big piece for you guys. And then again, remember, we said we're going to draft an inside linebacker. So Sam Aguavion, he's going to be a placeholder for right now. A guy you can draft in the draft. Plug him right in for that. This team was really, really close last year, like I stated in past slides. So this team is going to be hungry to win. And I think this defense could single-handedly carry them. And then if Tua takes a step, like some people think he will, this team will be deadly on the offensive side of the ball. And then especially on the defensive side of the ball where they're already deadly. Brian Flores has done a great job ever since he came in building this team. Especially last year, they've had a big jump. They were pretty sure they're 5-11, went straight back to 10-6, just missed the playoffs. I expect this team to make the playoffs next year. Some people say they will compete with the Bills for the division title. We'll just have to wait and see. I have high hopes for this Miami Dolphins team.
Absolutely. And again, a lot of people want to speculate all the time. Oh, what happens if they drafted Herbert? And Jackson, you know I'm a big guy of Herbert. I was a fan of Herbert coming out of college. I had him ranked as the top quarterback coming out of last year's draft. They went with Tua. That's fine. Don't count out Tua yet. You got to understand he had a bad hip injury, and he was coming off of that, so we'll have to see what they do. Again, as reserves. Yellow means yellow's what the placeholder position. Here's a placeholder. Orange is who you guys are re-signing. And in this light blue color, you got Devontae Smith. That's your draft pick. Again, you're going to draft an inside linebacker. You need a lot of offensive linemen, to be honest with you, and maybe a running back, and you can immediately plug in, I would say, the inside linebacker and the offensive lineman. The running back will be a backup to Gaskins just to have for depth purposes. But again, if you get some offensive linemen to protect Tua, you're going to be in good shape. That's the truth. You're going to need an inside linebacker, too, to replace Sam right here, who's a placeholder who I feel like is going to need to be replaced, to be honest with you. So, again, this team could take steps in the right direction. I'm expecting a big jump from Tua this year. Look very accurate. Just needs to get faster on his decision-making. He's an accurate quarterback. Got to take shots downfield. He was known for doing that in college. Very good at the deep ball. Didn't see it much in the NFL. Hopefully, he learned a little bit from Ryan Fitzpatrick this past season, and we'll see what they can do. But again, got to upgrade this offensive line. Eric Flowers played better at guard, still didn't play great. Jesse Davis, no. Robert Hunt, not really. Austin Jackson, again, you need to upgrade this offensive line. Let's see if they do it throughout the draft. Guys, that's all from Top Notch Sports. Jackson, anything else?
I got nothing, Nick.
That's all. We'll see what you guys think. Let us know in the comment section below who you guys think you'll make draft, what cuts you would make. Again, we're trying to make this as realistic as possible and keep things flowing here normally. Until next time, we'll see you guys soon. Peace. We are Jackson.
Built better.
See you guys soon. Peace.